Hi guys! So before I even start this video, I wanted to show you my shirt, which I think is really cool. So I'm not sure you can really see. If you're interested, I will put the links to the Etsy shop below. I've been getting a lot of requests as to do another book recommendations video, and I thought, you know what? It is a Halloween! Woo! And I wanted to do something a bit Halloween themed, I suppose. I picked up a few books that could be, they're not like the scariest books ever. I used to read a lot of sci-fi, horror, and serial killers, thrillers kind of stuff, but now I'm more into classics, so yeah. However, I managed to find a few books that I think could be interesting with you. The first one is by Byeong-mo, and it's a Korean book. The original title is Without Bakery. This book isn't really scary, but it's definitely something that would go very well with Halloween, because it is basically about, as you can guess, a wizard that bakes. This bakery becomes the shelter of a young boy who gets harassed at home by his stepmother and was accused of having raped his stepsister, which is not true. You'll see how basically the wizard is going to help him. So that's pretty interesting. This one is one of my absolute favorite. It's called Horla, and it's written by Maupassant, who is a French writer who is amazing if you don't know him. It's the story of a guy who is living with some kind of, it's not really a ghost and it's not a human being either, it's in between, and this creature is basically sucking life away from that character, desperately trying to find a way to get free and get rid of that ghosty thing. You never really know if that's really a ghost or if it's something that's up in his mind. But yeah, in the end is pretty tragic. So the king, could I say that like that? Probably the king of horror and short stories and spooky things, Edgar Allan Poe. This has been one of my favorite books ever since I was a child. I used to love reading it over and over again. All the short stories like The Fall of the House of Usher, The Black Cat, The Murders in the Rue Morgue, The Mystery of Marie Roget. At the back it says, as readers will discover, Poe possessed an unrivaled capacity to create atmosphere and suspense and to probe the dark depths of the human psyche. All the stories in this volume push back the boundaries, making the improbable possible, the familiar terrifying and strange. And that's exactly what it does. So if you haven't read Poe by now, what have you been doing? And you should definitely read it now. Another classic, Frankenstein by Shelley. Do I even really need to tell what it's about? No, but if you haven't read it now, this Halloween is the perfect chance for you to read it. It's not my favorite as far as style goes, but still, it is pretty good. Next, Dracula. So if you know me a little bit by now, you know that's one of my favorite books, if not my favorite book. Dracula. Forget all those shitty vampires that are not real, well, vampires are not real, but that are not accurate to what vampires should be and that are really, really not good. And read that. That's a real vampire. That's really scary. That's interesting. It's an epistolary novel and it's really, really well written. Some people will say it's a bit kitsch, but I like kitsch, so whatever. It is very terrifying. It is very lustful. It is very seducing and attractive, yet very, I don't know, it's something you like and something you know you shouldn't get too close to. I could not make a Halloween books recommendation without Stephen King. Who could? I've read all of his books, I think, and it was really hard to pick just one. I picked up this one, which is in English Dark Health, because it's a theme that's quite similar to the Horla, which I think is really interesting. That's the story of a writer who doesn't use his real name in order to write. Suddenly, one day, everyone discovers that he was the one behind this name, this writing name, whatever. So it's made public, and he, with his family, makes a little joke kind of thing, like a funeral for his writing name. But the following days, someone comes out of the grave, and suddenly the terrible murders he used to write about in his books become real. He discovers that it has a lot to do with him and his personal life, and that's scary as fuck, and that's really good because Stephen King is amazing. This one is a little bit more special. It's a very short story by Nabokov. It is called, I want to say in English, A Stroke of the Wing. I couldn't really find it online, so I don't know if it's even been translated. So that's the story of an angel, but not your typical angel. The atmosphere is so surreal and very unique. The story takes place in the mountains, very high, very cold place, snow everywhere, white everywhere, very strange people in a very luxurious hotel, and then an angel appears and shit happens. Last book I don't have with me, unfortunately, but I really wanted to talk about it because my sister reminded me of that book. I was like, yeah, that's amazing. A Venus Deal. And I want to talk about the one, well, the story has been written by many authors, but I want to talk about the one that was written by Mérimée. So the story is about a young couple in love that just got married, and one day the new husband does something terrible. He puts the ring on the statue's finger, and then his marriage goes wrong cause apparently someone thinks the bride is not who it should be. So guys, I will talk to you very soon. Let me know if you have any recommendations. I'm always up for new readings, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye!